Okay, so this is so the great replacement theory, right? So it used to be the theory, or they would call it, sometimes they would call it white genocide, right? This is the theory that the powers that be, right, are trying to like bring all these third world immigrants, such as my parents, you know, to bring them to the West, to the white countries, right? And then eventually they'll like outnumber the whites and they'll marry them and stuff, and so then eventually there'll be no more white race. That's like an idea that exists, right? It's called the white genocide theory, you know, which there's some evidence for. Like there was this guy named let me show you this guy. Anyway, this article's dumb, right? So let's move on. But there's this guy Richard von Coudenhove-Kalergi. If you talk about this, if you talk about this, what I'm about to say to you guys, then you'll just be cut off from any kind of like polite company in any kind of like university setting or in a major corporation or anything like that. So don't talk about this anywhere else. But I'm just going to talk about it to you now. So this guy was the Count of Coudenhove-Kalergi. Okay, I think he's from Austria. Yeah, he's from Austria. Okay, so he was like a an aristocrat, you know, and so he was the pioneer of European integration. You see, and he was the founding president of the Pan European Union. The Pan European Union. You know how they have the European Union now? This is the kind of the forerunner to that. Okay, that started off in like the early 20th century. But what's interesting about this guy is he wanted to set up this pan-European thing, so all Europe would be like kind of one country type of thing, right? And then what he also wanted to do is import all as many people as he could from like the third world, like India, Africa, and places like that, so that they would marry the white people, and then there would eventually be no more white race. I mean, I'm serious. He literally said this. This is literally his idea. And it's funny because what he wanted, and this is the weirdest part, is that he wanted the Jews to rule over them. Anyway, so yeah, you see how even his father, the old counts, allegedly rose because supposedly they were saying this thing in the liturgy about let us also pray for the perfidious Jews. They're praying for them, man. What's your problem, dude? Because they called them perfidious, then the old count allegedly rose and walked out of the church in protest. I want to see if they give you this quote. This quote that they used to have this quote on here, man. They took it like Wikipedia gets scrubbed. It's like Wikipedia is like basically leftist nonsense too. But so they used to have this quote on his Wikipedia page about what he was saying about the Jews and the whites and all this stuff. What I was just telling you, but then they don't talk about it anymore. But anyway, they had this thing for the popular movement for United Europe, right? In 1923, published the Manifesto Pan Europa. Anyway, it's possible I could find this quote for you guys, but it's gonna take me a while. His book is in German, so you have to like basically copy paste it and then translate it. Hitler's view of Coudenhove-Kalergi was that the rootless, cosmopolitan, and elitist half-breed was going to repeat the historical mistakes of his ancestors. served the House of Habsburg. Anyway, so this was so the Nazis obviously hated him, but that's probably a fake too. But so he fled to Czechoslovakia when Hitler invaded Austria. Crusade for Pan Europe. Nazis took away his Doctor of Philosophy degree. End of the thing. Anyway, so that quote's probably not here, but I'm gonna find it for you. Views on race and religion. In his 1925 book, Practical Idealism, Kudahov Kalergi theorized that the historical development causing the death of European hereditary social classes would lead to an all-encompassing race of the future made up of Eurasian Negroids. See this? See what I'm saying? He literally thought that and this guy's like one of the aristocrats of Europe. He's like he's one of them, right? And he's like saying he's trying to lead Europe to the death of the European hereditary social class. That's like he's talking about like the royal families and the aristocrats of Europe, all those people. He's saying he wants that to end, right? And what does he want? He wants to. It would lead to an all. This is so weird. It's so wild and crazy. Like an all-encompassing race of the future, made up of Eurasian Negroids, would replace the diversity of peoples and today's races and classes with the diversity of individuals. So they're just commie weirdos, you know. But I don't even know what this guy is like. What am I? Look when I look. Yeah, this is global homo beginnings. Yeah, that's true. Look at Germany now. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Hey, Kenneth, what's up, brother? God bless you, my man. So, anyway, so he wanted to create this Eurasian Negroids race, you know? But it's like, I don't know. Let's see what they say here. But in an interview in the first Pan European Congress in 1926, he expressed his support of Jews by the Pan European movement and the benefits to Jews with the elimination of racial hatred and economic rivalry brought by the United States of Europe. See how he's like into Jews and stuff, but they're not telling you, look, this stuff, the stuff this guy was saying is way wilder than what they're showing you here. Okay. Maybe we could check out the book or something. Hold on, let me see. In 1932, Kudahov Kalergi composed and had his publishing house reissue a preface for a new edition of his father, Heinrich Kudahov Kalergi's condemnation of anti-Semitism in his later life. In 1933, he responded to the ascendance of Nazism by collaborating with Heinrich Mann, Arthur Hollitscher, Lion Feuchtwanger, and Max Brod. It's probably Brod. In writing and publishing the pamphlet, excuse me, Gegen die Phrase vom jüdischen Schadling, against the phrase Jewish parasite. Interesting. Interesting stuff, Kudahov Kalergi. Let's see about his book. See how it's like it's in Austrian, you know? Look at this. Der Mensch, der Fernen. Oh, you know what? I bet you this is kind of like what he's talking about. Let me see what this says. Okay, let's read. The people of the distant future will be mixed race. Today's races and castes will fall victim to the increasing overcoming of space, time, and prejudice. The Eurasian Negroid race of the future externally similar to the ancient Egyptian, will replace the diversity of peoples with the diversity of personalities. So what he's trying to say is that he wants to eliminate race, but have so everyone's kind of the same race, but then we have different personalities. This is never going to happen, of course, right? This is just pie in the sky retardery. But the fact is, that's what he thought. But did I show you? There's another part of this quote where he talks about how the Jews are going to rule everyone. That's the thing that they're not saying here, you know? Oh, wait. Okay. You guys saw. All right. So, anyway, so that's the quote from Coudenhove Kalergi. If you guys, hope you guys can read that. But let me try to find this so we can see a bit more. Okay. Maybe we could get this. Oh, wait. Hang on. Sorry. Hang on. Okay, so we're going to page 30. Inbreeding strengthens the character and weakens the mind. Interbreeding weakens the character and strengthens the mind. What kind of weird nonsense these people are. Anyway, man of the distant future will be a hybrid. Today's races will fall victim to the growing defeat of space, time, and prejudice. The Eurasian Negroid race of the future, outwardly similar to the ancient Egyptian, will replace the diversity of peoples with the diversity of individuals. For according to the laws of heredity, I don't know, can you guys read that or is that too small? Hang on. According to the laws of heredity, difference increases with the dissimilarity of ancestors. And the monotony of offspring increases with the uniformity of ancestors. In inbred families, one child is like another because they all represent one common family type. In mixed families, the children differ strongly from each other. Each forms a new type of variation of divergent parental and ancestral elements. Anyway, you know what? They used to have this theory called there's this thing called heterozygosity when your cells so they used to have this theory that when they mix the races, the child will be even stronger because they'll eliminate these genetic problems and stuff, right? But that's actually probably not the case. It's probably the case that mixed race children end up having slightly more health problems, not a lot more, but there tends to be some more health problems with that type of thing. The precursor of the planetary man of the future in modern Europe is the Russian as a Slavic Tatar Finnish hybrid because he Slavic Tatar Finnish hybrid. Wow, dude. Because he, among all the peoples of Europe, has the least race and is the typical man of multiple souls with a broad, rich, all-encompassing soul. Anyway, there's this thing about this. You should hear what this guy talks about the Jews, man. Unbelievable stuff that this guy was saying about Jews, like how they should rule Europe and stuff. Paganism and two soul types struggle for world domination: paganism and Christianity. These soul types have only superficial relationships with the denominations that bear these names. If the focus shifts from the dogmatic to the ethical, from the mythological to the psychological, then Buddhism is transformed into ultra Christianity. This guy's so naive about this stuff. While Americanism emerges as modernized paganism. That's true. The Orient is the main carrier of the Christian mentality. The Occident, that's the West. Like they call the Orient is the East and the Occident is the West. Okay. Is the main carrier of the pagan mentality. The pagan Chinese are better Christians than the Christian Germans. Yeah, right. Paganism places vigor at the forefront of the ethical value scale. Anyway, let's check out the I wish I could find this quote about this guy, what he said about the Jews. It was unbelievable, man. Unbelievable stuff. Part one on rural and urban people, rural man, urban man, nobleman, men of letters, gentleman, bohemian, inbreeding, interbreeding, pagan and Christian mentality, crisis of the nobility, reign of the mind instead of reign of the sword, twilight of the nobility, plutocracy, hereditary nobility and the nobility of the future, Jewry and the nobility of the future. Let's check it out. Okay. The primary supports of both the corrupt and the upright intellectual nobility. Let me see what you guys comments here. Hey Angelo, sports is that theory still widely believed? I remember being taught that in high school biology. Oh, the theory about heterozygosity. Yeah, it is actually widely believed, but I don't think it's very well supported with the actual experimental literature. You know what I mean? But it is widely supported because it's political. You know, that's the thing. Science is so political now that's why those kind of things stay alive. You know. We need a good alternative to YouTube, but the same entities control. Yeah, yeah. You're not going to get any alternative. I mean, the alternative is just going to be under control as well, right? BitChute, Rumble, whatever. Many of us are probably already on list. Is with big money. Yeah, we're on list, man. They need to feed it AI and make the one world government by having a database on everyone. Yeah, man. They want to see everything you're doing, man. So the primary supports of both the corrupt and upright intellectual nobility of capitalism, journalism, and the literary profession are Jews. Of both the corrupt and the upright. So there's corrupt nobility and there's upright, that is righteous or good nobility. And the support is mainly for Jews. The superiority of their spirit predestines them to be a major factor in the future nobility. See what I'm saying? This is how this guy talks, man. Look at the history of the Jewish people explains their lead in the struggle for leadership of mankind. 2 millennia ago, the Jews were a religious community composed of ethically and religiously inclined individuals from all nations of the ancient cultural world. From all nations. What kind of foolish nonsense is that? With a national Hebraic center in Palestine. I mean, I guess there's people, but they're not ethnically. Ethically religious. Okay, yeah, okay, but they're not from all these. I mean, they're not from all nations. They're from one nation, the Jews nation, Israel. At that time, what was common, unifying and primary, was not the nation but religion. Okay, in the course of the first millennia of our era, I mean, I don't think the Jews saw it that way. Like they weren't that religious, but they saw themselves as a nation, as an ethnic group, as a race. Anyway, at that time, what was common, unifying, and primary was not the nation but religion. In the course of the first millennium of our era, proselytes from all peoples entered this religious community. Most recently, the king, nobility, and people of the Mongolian Khazars. Yeah. You know, there's this theory about the Khazars, how the Ashkenazi Jews are Khazars. The lords of southern Russia. Only from then on did the Jewish religion community form an artificial national community and isolate itself from all other peoples. Okay, so what he's saying is that the Jews only became isolationists after the Khazar thing. For 1,000 years, Christian Europe has been trying to eradicate the Jewish people through unspeakable persecutions. The result was that all Jews who were weak-willed, unscrupulous, opportunistic, or skeptical were baptized, thereby escaping the torments of endless persecution. On the other hand, all Jews who were not skillful, clever, and inventive enough to survive the struggle for existence in this most difficult form perished under these often difficult living conditions. So finally, a small community emerged from all these persecutions, tempered by a heroically endured martyrdom for the idea and purified of all weak-willed and weak-minded elements. Instead of destroying the Jews, Europe reluctantly refined them through this artificial process of selection and educated them into a leading nation of the future. No wonder then this people who emerged from the prison of the ghetto developed into a spiritual nobility of Europe. Thus, as the feudal nobility fell into decline, a benevolent providence bestowed upon Europe, through the emancipation of the Jews, a new noble race of spiritual grace. The first typical representative of this emerging future nobility was the revolutionary noble Jew, La Salle, who combined beauty of the body with the gallantry of character and sharpness of mind to a high degree. An aristocrat in the highest and truest sense of the word, he was born anyway. Jews are not the new nobility, rather Jewry is the womb from which a new spiritual nobility of Europe will emerge. An intellectual urban master race is forming. Wow, dude. Idealists, witty and sensitive, just and true. This is like, I mean, this guy is the enemy of Hitler, right? But he still also uses this phrase, master race. But he thinks of the Jews as the master race. You know how, like, the irony of this, you know, the absolute, like, irony of this whole thing, this whole document, man. Wow, dude. I can't even believe I'm reading this. But this is, you haven't even read the thing, the quote that I'm telling you guys about, right? Which I can't find right now. It's so wild what this guy says. It's so insanely wild. The Jewish heroes and martyrs of the Eastern and Central European Revolution are in no way inferior to the non-Jewish heroes of the World War in terms of courage, perseverance, and idealism, while they often surpass them in spirit. Okay, with these two attempts at salvation spiritual, the Jews bestowed discerned masses of Europe. Modern anti-Semitism is main roots of anti-Semitism, having emerged from an international religion. Anyway, look, I'll find the quote. We'll look at it later. You know, I don't know. This is kind of boring, right? But I'm telling you, man. These people, that whole, so what was I even talking about this? We're talking about white genocide, right? And I'm just saying that was a real thing. There literally was people trying to do this. They were not nobodies. This guy was the head, the founding member of the founder of the Pan-European Union. He was literally the founder of it. Okay. And he's one of these like high diplomat, high society people in Europe. He's like a major player, you know? And this guy was teaching this stuff. And he literally wanted to do a white genocide. He literally wanted to do it. So the idea that the white genocide thing is just some stupid conspiracy theory is just historically illiterate foolishness, you know? But if you try to talk about this, you're going to get called a racist and all this stuff. But this is just history. This is literally, I mean, you can just look it up online. It's right there, right? But this is what I'm telling you, man. These people, you know? Anyway, I don't want to hate on the Jews because I love the Jews, you know. I'm not trying to say anything about the Jews, but I'm just saying there is a literal thing called white genocide. But anyway, so then okay, so that was the original thing of the Great Replacement theory, right? But now when they talk about Great Replacement theory, what they usually mean is that this program by like Democrats and people like that to bring in as many immigrants, especially Mexicans and stuff, that they can bring in, because then they can try to get them to vote and get them to vote left, right? That's what they think. But actually a lot of the Mexicans and a lot of those people, they end up voting right because they're not stupid idiots, you know? So that's why this thing's not gonna work out for them, you know?
Okay. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 Studying the Bible with Mike and Pat. These other YouTubers are just so trash. Hit the thumbs up if you want to support. Go follow Mike as he follows the Lord. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 You better watch out, Mike's calling out the shills. If you're not free grace, you need to sit down and chill. We're not hyper grace, you know we keep it real. Eternally secure, you know that we're sealed. We don't back low, we're not workspace heretics. Mike's not in it for the money, trying to get a lick. They out here selling their souls for a couple clicks, becoming Freemasons so they can't just get rich. I'm studying the Bible in Toronto. 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 Shout out to Mike and Pat. Check out his channel, Toronto Bible Study. Subscribe and like.